Welcome to the Blogger Genius Podcast, brought to you by Milo Tree. Here's your host, Jillian Leslie.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Blogger Genius Podcast. I'm your host, Jillian Leslie, serial entrepreneur. I have a great episode for you today all about TikTok. But before I launch into that, I wanted to ask you if you were thinking about setting up a paid workshop where you teach something for an hour to your audience on Zoom, but yet you don't know what exactly your topic should be. Well, I have the perfect thing for you. I have a free download, and it is a worksheet that will help you come up with your workshop idea. You can fill this out in 5 minutes, but it really leads you on a journey to figure out what you could teach, what your audience would want to learn from you. Get the download by going to milotree.com/workshop idea. Kind of makes sense. Workshop idea. And I am seeing so many bloggers and creators have tremendous success selling paid workshops to their audiences. In fact, today I was on 2 calls helping women set up their third paid workshop because it works. If you have an audience, there is money to be made selling directly to your audience. And even better, you get to attract your true fans to you and build deeper relationships. And if you want me to help you one-on-one for free, set up your paid workshop, just email me at jillian@milotree.com and I would be so excited to get on a call with you. For today's episode, I have Keely Stawicki from Rebel Keely on the podcast, and she teaches all about TikTok, but not just how to grow your followers, how to use TikTok strategically to grow your business, how to funnel your followers, your traffic to your products, to your blog, to your Facebook group. It's all about intention. It's all about exposure, getting in front of a new audience and directing them where you want them to go. TikTok is a really powerful platform that I'm just starting to lean into, but I think there is tremendous opportunity. So I think you're going to like this episode. Without further delay, here is my interview with Keely Stawicki. Keely, welcome to the Blogger Genius Podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be on here and be talking about TikTok with you.
And this is, by the way, our second recording. We did a whole recording, but our Zoom connection kept cutting out and it was super difficult to try to edit that podcast. So I reached out to you and I said, would you come back on the show? And you so graciously and generously said yes. So thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Well, I really love nerding out about this stuff. And I feel like since the last time we talked, I've made so many new discoveries that I'm really excited to talk about today.
So will you briefly share your entrepreneurial journey? And when we get talking, like before I press record, it's always so fascinating because you're from the US and you moved to Mexico about a year and a half ago, and you are living that kind of nomad life. So will you just share how you got into this and how you got to Mexico?
Yeah. So I've always been a serial entrepreneur. And before I moved to Mexico in September of 2020, I had previously had a sawmilling business with my now ex-fiance. And then I had a vintage consignment store. Well, when COVID hit, it really crushed my vintage consignment store, and I had owned the real estate that I was in. So, and it had a few apartments, so my tenants quit paying, and I was basically on I was financially collapsing. Like everything was falling apart. I was 3 days away from filing bankruptcy when I was able to sell off all of my assets and my building that I owned and kind of escape that part of things. Luckily, I had been developing a high value skill called lead generation funnels. So I had turned my vintage consignment reselling business into an online coaching business where I had been teaching teaching aspiring resellers how to sell vintage items on eBay. And so I had been learning how to use lead gen funnels and sales funnels to drive. I was making a few $1,000s a month from that kind of side hustle. And so when I was selling everything off, I was like, okay, I'm just going to travel around and I'm going to take this funnel design business and do it freelancing, because I'd already been making a little bit of money from it, helping friends. And when I moved to Mexico, and I decided on Mexico because Airbnbs in Arizona and Texas were like thousands of dollars. It was like $2,000 for a double wide in the desert in the middle of nowhere in Arizona. And I was like, I only have 2 months to survive if I do that. So I started looking more south, and in Mexico, you could get places for like $500 a month that were still fairly nice. And so I just kind of took the leap. I've always liked the Mexican culture. And so I was like, why not? I'm just going to do this. And I was able to, in 45 days, generate $7,500 from that funnel business. And since then, just kind of kept rolling along. And but I hit a brick wall about 6 months in. I kind of got burnt out on doing the done for you funnels. I was doing client work where I'd build out the whole system for them, and I just kind of got burnt out. And I decided to go into more of selling courses. And I created this course, and I was trying to launch it with Facebook ads. And I was no stranger to Facebook ads. I had ran Facebook ads for all of my different businesses. I had done lead gen for my vintage reselling business with Facebook ads, but something unique had happened. The iOS 14 update, which is Apple's version of slapping Facebook, right? We all remember that. They slapped Facebook and said, "Oh, now you can't track the usage on the conversions and the use, and you can't track iPhone users anymore if they opt out." And they say 90% of people opted out when that notification came on their phone. And so that killed, right as I was launching my courses, it killed my ad campaign. I spent over $2,200 on ads, and I made $500. And I was like, great, now what? And so that's when I decided to turn to TikTok, and I didn't have any other options, right? So when we think about building an online business, our options to lead generation is ads, organic traffic, which is like DMing, hanging out in Facebook groups, doing podcast interviews like this, which are fun, but they take a lot of time. And so a bunch of people were like, look at my TikTok videos, I'm doing this 30-day Reels challenge, and then I'm sharing them to TikTok. And I was like, well, I don't have anything to lose. I'll just have fun with it and try it out. And so I dedicated 30 days to this, and I made a video a day. It was like pulling teeth, because I'm very much introverted wildflower. I didn't want to have to do video content. I really wanted to be more behind the scenes, but I pushed myself out there and I did it. And within 30 days, I had a few videos go viral, and I was able to capture this insane amount of traffic that I had never experienced before, even using Facebook ads. And I made $9,000 in sales just that first month using TikTok. And so since then, I've been in the trenches nerding out about how TikTok works, especially through all of the algorithm changes and the shifts. Social media is this constantly changing creature, and kind of nerding out on what's working, what was working, what's working now, and really dedicating to helping other female entrepreneurs utilize this powerful platform to be able to grow in ways that we never were before.
Question. Do you think today, so the pandemic, let's say, is in a new phase, like we're no longer at home on TikTok. TikTok has, of course, grown, let's say, even since we recorded our first podcast episode. Do you think there is still as much power in TikTok to go viral, to get this big audience for free? Or was this like lightning in a bottle at a certain time and place?
Absolutely. That's a really good question, because a lot of people think that they missed the boat on it. And when you look at TikTok, it still is, as far as the size of it, it's still a baby. And so there's still a lot of opportunity. And this is why it's really important to get started now. Don't keep putting it off. Oh, I'll do it next month. I'll do it when I figure out my message. I'll do it when I have something to sell. This is really something where you need to start actually taking action and learning the skills and building an audience, even before you have anything to sell, even before you feel like you're ready, because it takes time to develop the skill. And there's a statistic where TikTok has grown, even before the pandemic, had grew in engagement by 1,553%, all while Facebook engagement had gone down 26%, all before the pandemic. And then it exploded during the pandemic. And we're really, even though we're people are no longer sitting, on social media all day long, stuck at home, they still have gotten into the habit of utilizing TikTok. And now we've gotten so used to, and we like the type of content that people are putting out from these short form videos, that now even when they consume content on, say, Instagram Reels or on Facebook, that's what they want to see. Like, look at all the other social media platforms. They've basically had to copy TikTok and implement TikTok, these short form videos, into their platform to survive. We see Facebook now has Reels. It used to be down lower on the page. Now the Reels are like up first, right? Reels, they're up first. TikTok or YouTube, one of the first things you see is the short form videos. And so that speaks volumes to what TikTok has done to social media and the shifts that it's created.
So, okay, we have to discuss this. Is TikTok, so TikTok, I was just listening to a podcast this morning, and they were saying TikTok is no longer just dancing, which I totally agree with. Is it only for young people? Like, my audience tends to be female mompreneurs, like women, maybe in their 30s, who have families, who want to build a business so that they can have the flexibility in the lives that they want. Is that audience there? I know it's there for food. I know it's there for crafting, but like, let's say I talk about parenting. Let's say I talk about wellness, or even something, let's say more, I don't know, niche. Is the audience there?
Yeah. So statistically speaking, they are there, and they're there for those niches that you said. They say that only 25% of users on TikTok are under the age of 19. The fastest growing demographic is the 40 and over. And you're definitely seeing that when you see these, the 50s and 60 something creators on there just blowing up to like hundreds of thousands of views or hundreds of thousands of followers with millions of views on certain videos. If you have doubts, like, I can't speak to every single niche, but if you have doubts about your niche, go on there and search for the keywords, and I guarantee, because I spend a lot of time on TikTok, I guarantee that you will find creators in your niche that are very, very successful. And so that's the easiest way firsthand to be like, is my people there? And I'd say for the business space, like if you're a mompreneur, or especially if you're a mompreneur, or if you're a social media manager, or you're doing some sort of business to business conversation. Rachel Pedersen, 1 million followers.
Yeah.
She's one of the OGs on there. She's always doing mom body, mompreneur, like, she's like the one on there saying, hey, if you're a mom and you want to create side income, become a social media manager.
Right. But she, though, I put her in this rarefied category of like, whoa, but she got on there at the right time, and she was showing her body. And it's like, was that lightning in a bottle?
Yes, she was there early. So she did get in on that, like, early, like, when it was easy. There was a time where it was easier, just like you could look at Bitcoin and crypto and like, oh, I wish I would have invested
exactly
then. But there's still this argument where it's still growing. The platform is still growing. And so I would say for the next 5 years, we're still early enough. Right. Yeah, maybe it's not as easy as 3 years ago, but we're still early enough that it's a better use of your time than, say, spending time making Canva images for Instagram. It's still a better use of your time and resources than investing a bunch of money into Facebook. And so when you compare it to the other options of lead generation, it's definitely your best option and the best bang for your buck when you spend your time, because you can create a single video and put it on there and sorry, my dog he's like a little toddler. He's like, hey, I know you're doing something important now. I'm going to be super distracting. Anyway.
So let's walk through this. I am listening to this podcast. I think, not another platform to invest in. I don't even know how to get started. So I love your first tip, which is go onto TikTok, go search your keywords, go see what other people are doing on the platform. Then what is your second tip?
Okay, the second tip when you're like, I don't know where to start, is after you go and discover those other accounts that are doing well, that are maybe in your niche or in complementary niches. Sometimes I hear from creators, they're like, I don't want to go see other people in my niche because then I get imposter syndrome or then I get in comparison mode. So if that's a struggle for you, another tip, just look at people in complementary, so that you could potentially collaborate with instead, because their ideas could still cross into what you're doing. But to get started would literally just mean setting up your bio, setting up your account, and then start getting familiar with how you create content on the platform, how to actually create a video. And the easiest way to do that is to use like a trending sound and to just model a trend that someone's doing and type in some text and create a message doing that. That's like the easiest way.
Wait. I want to interrupt you for 1 second, just to clarify the things you just said for my audience. Sound could be music, could be what somebody has said, so just know that's the terminology. Think of sound as like music or any sort of, I don't know, sound. 2, I think TikTok is a platform where copying is encouraged. And in fact, it's a good strategy. And the idea is you do want to copy what people are doing and add your little spin to it. So as you're scrolling through TikTok, you'll notice this. Somebody will do something. There'll be the original version of it. And then other people will take that sound, like somebody says something and uses that same sound, record something very similar, but might tweak it in some way. That was so shocking for me with TikTok. You do not want to reinvent the wheel. You want to see what's already kind of cresting or starting to crest and get on that trend.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, I like to use the word modeling. You can copy like the trend, but you want to model the messaging so you can still make it your own, because you'll see people use it like in their own niche, and then you can add your own message to it. Because that's what makes it so, like, the coaching and the entrepreneurial space so amazing, is that we're never really competing. We all have our unique stories. We all have our unique message, and TikTok and these trends really allow you to get those out there in a way where you are able to express your unique way of doing business and your unique opinions on things. I want to say this again, but if you sit here and go, oh my God, but I'm not creative and I can't dance and I don't, you don't have to. No. It's actually really easy, I think, to take. It was so funny because I said to my daughter, I need TikTok stuff. And she goes, Mom. And she started sending me TikToks. And she's like, you could just take this and just change the messaging. And I was like, oh, it was like a light bulb moment for me. And it was like, whoa, it's not as hard, I don't think, as people think it is to get started. No, it's really simple. It's as easy as just going on there and saying a little something you believe. Even if you're like, oh, I don't want to do those silly trends. I don't want to have to lip sync something. Because I don't dance in any of my videos anymore. Some of my first ones, I tried it, but it just never was I had fun with it. And I was like, not anymore. So you don't even have to do that. But just getting on there and being like, oh, I have something important I want to say. And it's just I believe this, and you just speak it from the heart, and that's your message. That's your video for the day.
I wanted to take this short break to let you know that you can grow your TikTok followers automatically with your MiloTree pop-up app. So not only can you grow your TikTok followers, you can also grow your followers on Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, Facebook. You can grow your email list. You can even send your visitors to a custom link. It is so customizable and flexible. And remember, MiloTree, the pop-up app, will not slow your site down one bit. It plays so nicely with your ad network. We have optimized it like crazy because we use it ourselves on Catch My Party. We grow our Pinterest followers with it. If you would like to try our MiloTree pop-up app, just go to milotree.com, sign up. You get your first 30 days free, no risk. And now back to the show. Okay, I'm getting started. Like one thing that I did, so I was telling you offline that like I did it for 30 days. I didn't see a lot of traction. You just gave me some free coaching. So thank you so much for that because I'm going to get back doing it.
Yes.
And my account, follow me please, is at MiloTree app. And then you can watch me on my journey. But what you said is it is that first hook that matters. Can you explain what that means?
Yeah. So we'll back up even further. We'll back up. So what I've learned, especially recently, is when you start creating content for TikTok, you want to define who it is you're speaking to. So some of us, like I have one member of my Inner Circle TikTok program, and she does mind mapping. And so she could help.
Wait, what is mind mapping?
Okay, so mind mapping is a form of organizing thoughts and like a roadmap. And she'll have like an initial idea, and then from there she'll go into the who, what, why, and when of things. So if someone's developing a course, she can be like, okay, so she can help you design an entire course based on like, oh, well, they're on this journey, they're here, and then they have to go here, and here's the points of the journey, and here's how you branch all the things out. And then authors, if they're writing a book, here's the point of the book, here's all the things I want to say, and she can help you organize the chapters of the book based on the things you want to talk about in the book. For speakers, help you organize a speech. And it's kind of taking all of the thoughts in your head, dumping them on some paper, and organizing and restructuring them into a way that's productive. So it's actually really boring in some ways, but we're helping her to organize and gain clients through TikTok. But her issue was that when she would come on, she would say something like, hey, are you building a course and you want to sell more courses? And it was just this like generic messaging, or, hey, are you struggling to like plan your idea? Again, very generic. You don't know who she didn't really know who she was speaking to. And so you want to develop a avatar and be like, okay, I'm working with female authors who are doing self-help books, or I am working with female authors who are putting together a digital book that will then help sell courses. Now there's an avatar, right? Now you can really speak to somebody. And so I think when you get into creating a message and a hook, you want to be able, that hook needs to say exactly who it's for. So if you've been testing the waters and you're like, my videos aren't getting more than 500 views, I'm really struggling to gain traction, it's probably because you're speaking to too many people with that initial line. You know, it's like, hey, are you trying to feel more grateful today? Well, we're all trying to feel more grateful today, like, man. But if you came on and you're like, hey, are you ambitious and excited? And you like, or for me, I kind of get my second wind at the end of the day. And I'm like, okay, are you ambitious and excited at the end of the day? And then you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed by all the things you have to do. Here's a tip for you to get past that quickly in the morning to get back to doing something. That's like a really specific moment in somebody's day-to-day that you can speak to. And so that's kind of the fun of the hooks, is that you can really dial in who it's for, what they're going to experience, and speak to that struggle that they're having right now. But you want to make it interesting, because as people are scrolling the platform, they have goldfish brain, right? They're like, oh, this, oh, that, oh, this, oh, that. So when we put out content, we want to make sure that first 3 to 5 seconds is really interesting and speaks to the people we want it to capture. Otherwise, they're just going to keep going by.
I think that is such a great tip. I really do. You know, as the internet, as TikTok, everything gets bigger, it's like we've got to get smaller.
And it sounds counterintuitive. And it's something I feel like as entrepreneurs, we all struggle with it. And we can struggle, some of us struggle with it for a little bit of time, some of us struggle with it for years, because we feel like we can help and speak to so many different people. But in doing that, we become the best kept secret because we're not really speaking to anybody. And marketing is as much repelling people as it is bringing people towards us. And so that's a whole nother conversation. It's one thing to like narrow in on who you want to speak to. It's another thing to be, okay, I want to repel people that are procrastinators. I want to repel people that make excuses. I want to repel the people that consume free stuff and never invest in themselves. So you can do that strategically with using TikTok content as well.
Okay. Logistics. Let's say, I go, all right, I am going to do 30 videos every single day for the next 30 days. Does that sound like a good challenge for myself to see if I can get traction or to get traction to learn?
So are you doing 30 videos daily or
No,
30
one video every day for 30 days. I wish I could do 30 videos daily. One video every day for 30 days.
Yes. So when you get started, or if you've been kind of away from the platform and kind of sporadically posting, challenging yourself to create a video every day for 30 days is the best way to really kickstart things, because you can then test out different types of content. You can test out messaging. You can have enough time to get feedback from the TikTok community on what's working and what's not working for you and your content. And this is where the magic really happens, because one, the algorithm will reward you because it loves when people are consistently putting out content on the platform. Two, you're able to get feedback. And three, you're able to really gain momentum, and momentum creates helps you bust through procrastination, and momentum will help you stay motivated.
Okay.
And so with motivation comes the ability, because you might get 2 weeks in and be like, wow, I'm getting so much better at this. And it's so much more motivating. Now you're creating 2 videos a day.
Though that was my next question,
yeah.
which is this the case? The more videos you can create per day, the more likely you are to grow, because your chances, your at-bats are higher. For one to go viral.
Yes. So it very much is, there's a system and a pattern to it, but also there's chance and probability. So the more content you put out there, the better chances of going viral or getting some sort of traction. But the other thing that happens is, I don't know, have you ever read Atomic Habits, the book Atomic Habits? In there, he speaks to this case study. It comes from a book called Fear and Art. And this was the initial study they did, where a pottery instructor decided one semester he was going to judge half the class or grade half the class on the quantity of work they did. So 50 pounds of pottery equaled an A, 40 pounds equaled a B, 30 pounds equal C, and so on. And then the other half will be judged on the quality of the work that they did. They only had to do one piece, but it was based on the quality of it. So he found at the end of the semester that those that had created, the greatest quantity of pottery had actually created a better quality piece in the end than those that had studied the art of the perfect pottery and created only one piece. And this comes from, because there's no way around it. You can learn about the science of things all day long, but mastery comes from actually doing it. So you can sit there and you can go on and you can study everybody else's content. You can take courses from me. You can learn about it all you want. But until you actually get out and start creating the videos, you're not going to get better. So the more videos you create, the better you're going to get. And yes, TikTok reward you, but because the quality of your content's getting better, you're going to see more and more results.
Absolutely. And there is a randomness factor. Like you were telling me you did a reel that you didn't even think was that great and it went viral and you don't know why, but boom, it was like some sort of magic. So yes. You want to kind of set yourself up for more potential moments of magic, even if you can't explain it.
Exactly. Right. And I hate to admit the randomness of it, because we all, as business owners, want to create some sort of certainty, but there is, a hair pulling like madness to it at the same time, which actually makes it really fun, because you never know when you publish that video if it's going to be the one that radically changes your business overnight. And I think that also speaks to those of us that love the law of attraction and manifesting, is when you really focus in on that goal and you allow the creative juices and feminine energy to flow, you can then be rewarded back with this randomness.
Okay. How long should my videos be? I know TikTok has now allowed you to make longer videos. What is your kind of sweet spot? What would you recommend? Let's assume I'm going to do one video a day for 30 days. How should I think about length?
Yes. So only very few accounts are allowed to do over the 3-minute. Both my accounts, I can still only do 3-minute long videos. The way I decide how long my video is going to be is if like I decided if I want to share it to Facebook and Instagram. On Instagram for Reels, you can only have a 1-minute-long video. And so if you want to repurpose this content, you'll want to create it for a minute on TikTok. So then you can share it to Reels on both Facebook and on Instagram. If it's something where I feel like I'm going to need more time to speak, and it's like, oh, I need that whole 3 minutes, then I'll just know I'm not going to be able to put it on Reels, and it'll just be for Facebook and for TikTok. So most of my videos, I would say 80% of them are under a minute, and a few of them are a little bit longer. And I know I won't be able to share them everywhere.
Got it. And what about your description and hashtags? What is the best strategy for that?
Yeah. So there's a lot of arguments around hashtags on TikTok. I've seen some creators make videos where they say no hashtags is better because then TikTok will have to decide where to put your content. Some creators like Rachel Pedersen say when you're brand new and you have a brand new account, just fill the box with as many hashtags as possible, similar to what you would do on Instagram. That way TikTok shows it to those communities, and you can start dialing in the style of content that would speak best to the people you want it to reach. And so I feel like those creators that are like, just use no hashtags and get it out to as many people as possible, they're not trying to monetize. For me, in my new account that I just started, and I now have 2 accounts, I'm very much like, these are the people I want my content to reach. I don't want it to reach a bunch of random people. I don't want TikTok to decide who this is going to be shown to.
So will you fill it with hashtags that are very intentional?
Yes. Yeah. So my new account, I'm filling it with hashtags that are very intentional. I do put a few, like a sentence in my hashtag box that will add value to whatever my message was. So if it's kind of like, it could be a question like, have you tried this hack before? Have you heard this? Something to try to get engagement in comments, or double tap if you agree. Because the psychology of how people consume a video is they first will read whatever was on the screen, and then their eyes will trail downward to that hashtag box. And so if there's hashtags, they typically don't read the hashtags, but if there's a sentence, people will read that and they may take action on it.
And you want to encourage people to comment or to like it, because that tells the algorithm, ooh, people are engaging with this. We should show this to more people.
Yeah. So this is where the magic comes in for getting more views and really getting a video to reach more people. Is they say the algorithm has like a point system where a like is worth 2 points, a comment's worth 4 points. I don't know if there's truth to this or accuracy to that statement, but I know when people go to comment, the video is still playing in the background. So if you did a trending sound or something that was shorter, more like 7 seconds or 15 seconds, your video is really going to play a lot in the background as somebody leaves a comment. And the longer the comment is, the more your video is going to play in the background. So it might seem like multiple views are happening. But yes, any sort of engagement, shares are really important. Them watching it multiple times is really important. And so this is why, as you get better with your content, you can get more creative with how you get people to engage with your video.
Now, is TikTok a community? Like, are people commenting and I'm commenting back, and there becomes this back and forth and building relationships? Like when you think of Instagram, let's say, like you can actually build relationships on Instagram. How would you describe TikTok versus Instagram when it comes to that?
Yeah. And that's a really good question, because each one of these social media platforms are still valuable in their own way. TikTok is not a messaging platform, where Instagram and Facebook are, the way you build relationships is heavily built on DMing, right? On Instagram, you can message people, no problem. On Facebook, we have the Facebook Messenger app, which a lot of us use to even talk to our friends and family, right? On TikTok, you can't actually message people unless you are both following each other. And so this is a really hot tip for, especially for women, is do not follow accounts back. Like on Instagram, there was this big movement where it's like follow for follow, and nothing would come of it. It's just like you're helping build each other up. But on TikTok, you really don't follow creators or other accounts unless you want to see more of their content. There's no reason to follow them for any other reason than to continue to see them. But what happens is you'll get somebody, maybe a bot or a man, and they'll follow you and you'll follow them. Well, then they're like, oh, she must be interested. Or, hey, now I can slide into the DMs, and then you'll get messages from random people, like a bot, a spammy bot, or a guy sliding in there being like, hey, beautiful. And you're like, So you don't need to follow people back. It's not a messaging app. If you're wanting to collaborate with another creator, then that's when the messaging is really helpful. Like I've gotten a lot of podcast interviews because people have left a comment on my video saying, hey, I'd like to connect with you about, doing a podcast. And I'll be like, cool, I'll follow you back and shoot you a message. So then I'll follow them back and send them a message. And now we're collaborating in the comments. But as far as like getting leads, it's not a good communication platform for that. So what typically happens is people will go to your Instagram and then they can message you there. But the way that relationships are built on TikTok is really that one to many. And this is where marketing magic comes in, is you put out one video and you're speaking to thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, depending on the virality of the video. And so the relationship is built through repetition of them seeing you, following your journey, gaining closeness through whatever you're sharing, and then through commenting. Commenting is huge. Like commenting is everything on the platform, because they can leave a comment and you can reply to it either in a video format where you actually respond to them on camera and create another piece of content based on a comment, or you can just write back to them. And so that's where it really is in the commenting that a relationship's built, and repetition.
Got it. Now, one thing, but when if let's say you comment to me and I want to comment back to you, and you said I could do it as a video, is it like a one-time video just to you, or am I creating a TikTok response?
You're creating a TikTok. Ooh. And that's what's cool about it. So the person that left the comment will be tagged in it, but everybody can see it. Ooh. It will be set in the comments, but it also can be published to your timeline as a piece of content. So that's this is how you can create 5-10 pieces of content in a day, because literally you were going to write back to them. You could just create a video response instead.
Ooh, I think that is so interesting.
It's really cool.
One thing that you talk about, so I took your course, which I highly recommend, which we'll talk about right at the end. Because I thought you had so many good things to say. And one of the things that you say over and over again, and we even talked about this before we pressed record, the reason why TikTok is good for your business is because you get to put your content in front of lots of people, but you need to then figure out a way to funnel those people off of TikTok to where you want them to go. Just having followers on TikTok does not mean dollar signs, unless you're part of like the TikTok creator economy and you've got 1 million followers. So could you explain what that means?
Yeah. So like we were talking about before we hopped on here, there are creators on there with hundreds of thousands, millions of followers that only make like $1,000 because they don't understand how to monetize it. And honestly, the creative fund, a lot of people think that's where it's at, but they pay you nothing. Like you have to have videos that are reaching over 10,000 views per video to even start monetizing those videos. So it really isn't viable, especially for entrepreneurs. Like, we know how to monetize a lot better. And so TikTok is not for selling. I can't emphasize that enough. You don't sell using TikTok unless you're selling a physical product. Like e-commerce is so easy. Like if you're in e-commerce, you've got it made with TikTok. Like you can sell through the lives. You can actually connect your products. Like they have a shopping platform on TikTok for products. So easy. Physical products, I'm not talking to you because you've got it made. But if you're selling coaching or consulting, or some sort of digital product, it's a little bit different. You want to get them off of the platform, and you do that through merely just inviting. And this is really a sales tactic that I've latched onto because I don't like hard selling. I just like to invite people. If they want to work with me, great. Maybe I miss out on money and I'm not Grant Cardone, really hard selling people, but that kind of energy is really icky to me. And I feel like as women, we can do better than that. And so what I do through my content is I merely just provide a lot of value, and I mention how I help people in a creative way. And then I also invite them to my events, to my Facebook group. Hey, message me on Instagram, or I've got my Facebook group, or I have this workshop coming up, or I have this free thing. And they already know where to go. That everybody that consumes content on TikTok understands that there's a link in the bio, and that's where you go. And actually, one thing you want to avoid is ever saying link in bio or typing link in bio, because it will drastically reduce the amount of views your video gets. Instead, you can do things like Rachel Pedersen puts Bink in bio. I put Zinc in bio, or I'll type out profile, but I'll leave spaces and I'll use a 1 instead of an L or something like that. You just have to be creative with it. Or you can just say, you know where to go. And everybody knows it's in the bio, it's in the profile.
But again, be thinking about that. You want to have a strategy where you are funneling people off of the platform to places where they can get to know you, get on your email list, buy your stuff, go to your free events, whatever it is. So as you're creating content, really have that end goal in mind.
Yeah. You want to everything we do on the front end of our business needs to be aligned with whatever we're selling. And so for me, when I put out content and I think about my content strategy, it basically dials down to who is my product for, and then what do they need help with before they're ready to buy my product. And that's basically the content you create, is you help them overcome the things, or pre-frame them, or educate them to whatever your product does. And then it's really simple to get them to consume your product because you've already done the work on the front end.
Got it. Now, as we wrap up, will you talk about why you ended up with 2 TikTok accounts?
Yeah. So this is really recent, basically a few days ago. I had been, my original account, I had just been playing around with, right? I didn't know the things that I know now. And I went viral for being a digital nomad. And all of the people that became clients based on that I helped start entry-level businesses. I ran a challenge and they bought into my courses, but then I also ran a challenge and I sold them into a high ticket coaching program to help them start a business. I since learned I don't want to help them. I don't want to help beginners, very beginners, start businesses. So I created a free course that I now send them to, and I'm going a different route with all of that. But I learned that, and I was like, okay, I don't want to speak to the digital nomad life as much. I want to talk about funnels and marketing and TikTok. Well, that audience didn't want to hear that stuff. And they were just like, man, we want to get a job. We want to get a job. A job is easier to get, and then we can travel. And I was like, no, not a job. Jobs are for suckers. Like, build a business. I know it's hard, but it's worth it. And I just couldn't get them to latch on that idea. That audience didn't want to hear that. And so when I put out my content about marketing, it would get like 500 views, 800 views. And I was used to getting 10,000 views or 50,000 views on my videos. And I was like, what is happening? And for like 6 weeks now, I've been struggling with that. And I was trying to pivot the account, and I was staying flatline with my followers and I wasn't growing. And then it was like affecting me because I was like, I'm the TikTok queen and I'm the one doing these workshops. And how can I be teaching it if my own account's not growing? And so I did this test and I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to my old style of content, which is kind of this like vlog, sharing Mexico, sharing the lifestyle. And after weeks and weeks of getting like 500 to 1,000 views, the video, right as soon as I posted, it reached 10,000 in like 8 hours. And then it's now at like 15,000. I don't think I checked it this morning, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to start a new account and I'm going to take some of my most recent videos from my old account about marketing and publish them to a new account. And they've done twice as well on my new account, which is Marketing with Keely on TikTok. And they've done twice as well there. And I'm like, okay, because the way and what I learned from this validated what I've been seeing other creators say about how the algorithm works. The way the algorithm works is that the video that you publish is shown to 5% of your current following. If your current following doesn't interact or doesn't like it or doesn't watch it, then it won't get pushed to as many people. So immediately it's stunted because even though they'll show it outside your following, it won't be shown to as many people because your current following didn't even like it. So because my current following didn't want to hear about marketing or TikTok, it wasn't reaching more people and I was just staying stuck. And so this is why it's really important to develop who it is that you want to help and speak with and really create content off the get-go to that person and be really intentional about who you're speaking to. Otherwise, you end up going viral for something you didn't mean to, and you'll stay stuck for a bit.
Got it. So one of your accounts is about living the digital nomad life in Mexico.
Yes.
Cool things in Mexico, what it's like to be an expat, all of that. And then the other side now is really dialing in on marketing, growing businesses, like all that geeky stuff that only online entrepreneurs know.
Yes. And I originally had thought they could go together because I had been working, my VA and a few other people were like, no, you can make it work like Rachel Patterson, you can make it fit together. And it just wasn't working. And I felt like I was hitting a brick wall all the time with getting my content out there. And I was like, okay, I'll just separate them. And then those that want to learn about marketing can still follow my nomad life, but they just look at the other account. They can just follow both accounts.
And are you funneling people from your first account to say, hey, if you're this person, come follow me over here?
I literally just started this like 3 days ago. So I'm planning on doing that. I'm slowly like doing that. I've started telling my Instagram and my Facebook and everything, go follow me over here and you can watch my journey. It's kind of a progression of and it's always evolving. But yes, that's the plan, is to be like, hey, if you want to learn more in depth about marketing, I started a second account. You can go follow me over there. It's tagged below.
Got it. All right, Keely, I have learned so much from you. I highly recommend your course. I did a live thing with you. Would you tell people how they can learn more about that, how they can work with you, and how to find you on TikTok?
Yes. So you can find me on TikTok at my 2 accounts at Rebel Keely.
Can you spell that? Spell it.
Yes. REBELKEELY. That's my account where I share my nomad lifestyle. It's my first account. It's up to 38.4 thousand followers. And then my second account, I just started a few days ago. That's Marketing with Keely. Keely is how you spell my name. And that's going to be all like TikTok and marketing tips and more business style. You can find me on Instagram at Rebel Keely. And then every month I host a 3-day live workshop called Jumpstart Your TikTok Workshop. And this is basically how to set your account up for success and how to really dive into creating a direction for your content and really starting out those first 30 days with success. My next one is the 2nd of May, depending on when this podcast airs. And then I will have another one probably the beginning of June. And with that, what you had also bought was I have a 30-day toolkit, which is really cool. It has the 5 things I wish I knew before I went viral, which is like setting up systems. It has a mini course on how to set up your TikTok funnel. There's also a TikTok Mad Lib templates to help you kind of script out your videos, especially the speaking and teaching style videos. And lastly, there are 50 high converting hooks that I've used in a lot of my videos that have done well. So you have all the resources you need to really set off on the right foot in your first 30 days using TikTok.
Well, I have to say, I have learned so much from you, and I think you are a really awesome TikTok teacher, because it's not you kind of break it down so that it's not intimidating. And I was able to jump in and excited after taking your course. So I just want to say, I appreciate you coming back for a second time. And I have just so enjoyed becoming your friend.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this has been really fun. And I forgot to drop the link for that workshop. It is TikTokfunnelsforcoaches.com is how you can join the workshop for that. But yeah, I really appreciate this conversation. And I'm excited that I forgot to follow you back on TikTok. So now I'll be paying attention to those, and I can drop comments and little tips for you to help you grow even more on there.
Oh, I love that. Well, again, thanks for coming on the show.
Of course. Thanks so much for having me.
I hope you guys like this episode. I really like Keely. I feel like she has such warm, helpful energy. It's why I bought her course and why I wanted her on the podcast. A couple things that she talked about that I think are really important. And one is intentionality, that you really have to think about what your audience is struggling with, what problem you can solve for them, how to educate them about what you offer, and that all the pieces have to make sense and they have to line up. I also like that she's experimenting and she's willing to be out there trying new things. I think that's the name of the game. It's all about experimentation, because only the market will tell you whether you're right. So before I go, I've got two things. If you want to grow your TikTok followers, install our MiloTree pop-up app on your blog, and it will grow your followers while you sleep. Just head to milotree.com. Also, if you want to set up a paid workshop and you don't know what to teach, get my free download. Go to milotree.com, workshop idea, get the worksheet, fill it out, and you'll have an idea. And if you have an audience, remember, there's money to be had. If you want me to help you set it up, I would love to for free. Just reach out to me at Jillian@milotree.com. And I will see you here again next week.